Good day to you, partner. I'm Guy, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So, we have, I believe, a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try not to make jokes until the end, and then I can weave and make all the jokes. See, I'm already doing it, but that's it. I'm going to be good from now on. We're continuing the same gear. I just showed it just in case, which is this weird hodgepodge mesh to somehow get 35 skills and pretty high resistances while using an edge bow to do, to kind of simulate budget-ish gear, okay? And as you can see, lower resist is very dangerous because my reses are close to max, but they're not overcapped. The jewels I used were so bad, I could have used better runes or jewels to make sure that the lower resist wouldn't be as punishing. But just keep that in mind if you ever do Ubers yourself. That lower resist and conviction is very, very dangerous. So, what are we doing right now? We're seeing if it is better to continuously spam blood golems, because the idea is this: if a blood golem gets 5 stacks, it's worthless at that point. It just refreshes that stack. But what if you start making a new blood golem, so that 5 stacks keeps ticking, and then the new blood golem starts making its new stack? Well, budget, it's almost no difference. That was times 10 speed, and they basically both took 2 minutes. The caveat is this: technically, as your blood golems stop dying later on, then when they got to 5 stacks, it probably would be efficient to recast them all at that point. But at that point, you're already killing many Ubers so quickly, I doubt it matters. And I don't think it's ever going to be much of an impact in Ubers either. Although, keep that in the back of your head, that technically if your blood golems never die, eventually recasting them, yes, it should be more DPS. Maybe... No, because they would die too quick. I was like, maybe it would somehow affect Declone and Rathma, but no. I mean, your summons die so quick, it's never going to come up. So, anyways, we're now just doing a quick little jaunt into Ubers. This isn't an Ubers guide, so what instead I'm going to talk about is just in general how I felt about how Blood Golems field now, with the Edge Rune Word and the 5 stacks. Basically, their ad control is absolutely incredible. It can be a little obnoxious how to deal with it when the ads spawn right next to you. And I think after doing it, this was my first time, and I thought it went pretty well. You should just cast a Blood Golem next to yourself. If you try to warp around ever, I think it's actually the worst decision, because then way too many Blood Golems go off of the boss, and then it just takes way too long. See here, I run away, and I pull all my Blood Golems off, and I think it makes this fight take way longer than it should. But if you ever need to, cast a Blood Golem by yourself, and I think the fights will be very, very easy. See, at this point, somehow the fight looks chaotic, and it should have never looked like this. Okay. But again, this is not an Uber guide. It's really not that hard, guys, and maybe I'll do something a little more for that later on. But what I wanted to talk about is the changes that will be coming in this season that we know are confirmed. Fire Golem was fixed. Yes. I doubt there's any chance that the fix doesn't get applied next season. Now, Senpai mentioned that CY fixed it. As far as I knew, Sinpu came up with a fix, but maybe Sinpu's fix didn't work. But anyway, so CY, shoutouts to you. Thank you so much. Whatever the fix that the developers liked, or maybe there was some issue with the other fix, I'm just happy Fire Golems will actually work appropriately. For those who didn't know, they did not receive any bonuses from synergies to specifically the Holy Fire Aura, which is, the main reason to use them. So, like the entire build. And that will be adjusted. And Senpai made a quick clip showing about how good they are now, and they didn't look OP to me, but it's possible he'll nerf them a bit because he wasn't using optimal gear. I think that's something you should expect with Senpai, is that he rarely does optimal gear, and so maybe he adjusts it with the sense that basically if he feels it was too good with the gear he has, he'll nerf it. If he feels it's not good enough, he'll buff it. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll buff them, but they'll be fixed. So that's awesome. So even if they get nerfed, at least they actually work appropriately now. Bone Spear. Okay, so I was saying that Bone Spear appeared to have a shotgun-like effect. And yes, that is true. On one target, it's similar to a shotgun-like effect. Now, why would that be only single target? That's because of Last Collide. Basically, the reason one spear won't multi-hit the same mob, like in the test I was doing, is because of last collide. So it'll never re-hit it, even if the next hit delay is off. Like, you know, in the clip, it's 149, right? Frames, it takes damage. Well, last collide's up on the mob, so it'll never re-interact with it. But when you have 3 spears, it starts to mess with the last collide, and so basically, you know, the other spear is a new object, and then it'll hit it. So what does that mean for some of the tests I was doing earlier? Basically, in very dense areas, Bone Spear is hitting every mob 2 to 3 times. Now it depends on how big their hurt boxes are. So like a smaller mob would get hit twice, a bigger mob would get hit 3 times. Like a boss gets hit 3 times. Small mobs get hit twice. Cows, probably 2 or 3. I'm not positive if it's 2 or 3. I think from the little bit of test I was running, it could be either 1. But just it double hitting ever is a huge deal. And basically, Bubbles was the one who explained all this to me. Basically, the more dense, the better the Bone Spear is, and the more likely it's double hitting and triple hitting every single mob on the screen. So basically, I don't know what they're going to do to fix Bone Spear, because it's really, really cool right now, and hopefully we get some version with the bigger hitbox. Senpai said he'll probably just put up the next hit delay a bit, and that seems to be like a fix that shouldn't have any other issues. Right? Because, you know, every skill now has their own next hit delay flag. It's not like if he puts the next hit delay up to 25 and you go into a group, everybody's going to hate you because you're putting a next hit delay flag on the mobs. So I feel like that should solve it and there shouldn't be an issue. And, like, okay, I guess the issue is this. No, because every single character has their own... every single character can cast their own spell, right? So you could still have the Act 4 Merc, and he could be casting Bone Spears too. Yeah, it should be fine. I think it would only matter if you try to ever cast and proc Bone Spears from yourself at the same time, which sounds awful. So you know what? Yeah, please put up the next hit delay just so we never see that world. Anything else? Blood Golems absolutely obliterate Diablo. I don't know what happened here. But Diablo apparently just gets cream pied by blood golems, which blew my mind because he's very dangerous with damage. Now he always has been squishy, but this was insane. All right, guys, Skelly King out. GG.
Come and play with us, Danny. Forever.